Leadership backs up the decisions of their employees no matter what. I see this too many times where leaders expect their employees to be able to handle every situation and to be able to fix everything, especially from a manufacturing perspective, right away. And the problem is they don't give them the time to get trained up. They may put them in some training class to help them become a better mechanic, better at maintenance, but they don't actually give them the time on the job to fix the problem as it occurs. And because they don't get that on the job training, they aren't adequate enough to do their role. The same thing happens in engineering. You usually have this one very strong engineer who is very good at problem solving, who can figure out what is going on and fix it. And so the manager always goes to that person. But then you have a new engineer that comes along and they struggle. They can't figure it out. And eventually the manager stops them. They don't allow them to keep doing it because they're getting flack from their manager or other managers in other departments because that engineer is taking too long to figure out what the problem is. That maintenance person is taking too long to fix the robot, the sensor, whatever it may be. And so the manager stops letting them do that. But that is the worst thing a manager can do, a leader can do. That's really just a manager for doing that. Leaders will allow the people that are quote unquote the weak people in the department to be able to fail. Because when you let somebody fail, they learn so much more from that. But not only that, a leader has to back up that person as well. Because when you fail, it is disheartening. It makes you feel bad. Most employees will feel bad if they fail at fixing something, if they can't figure it out right away, and if it takes too long for them to figure it out. They are going to feel bad. They don't want to do a bad job. They don't want to cost the company money. But as a leader and a true leader, a great leader, will allow them that time and they will support them 110% as long as they gave that effort and as long as they didn't violate any rules, any safety, stuff like that. Of course, that's a given, but I want to make sure to mention that that is the two caveats: breaking rules and breaking safety rules more specifically. As long as they're not doing those two things and they are trying, a leader should back them up 110%. I've had leaders that would back me up, and it was amazing. I was able to do so much more with my job. I had so much more confidence in myself. And I knew even if I didn't know exactly how to figure it out right away, I didn't know what the exact solution was. I would have the time and the support to figure it out because my leader was there for me to deflect the other managers that may come by and wonder why it's taking me so long. He was there to support me because he knew I was the specialist. I was the one that could handle it. He couldn't. Where most, well, really not leaders, they're micromanagers, want to get in there and then get somebody else on it, or they're going to try and come in themselves and figure it out. And then you don't know how to do it. And so then it happens time and time again where somebody has to come in and bail you out. And now there's a time and place where you have to stop and have somebody else come in and bail you out from that who has more experience. But you had to give that new person that experience. You had to give power to that employee to be able to figure out what it is that is the problem and how to fix that solution. So good leaders allow their employees to fail. They allow their employees to keep working on it and support them 110%. Because anybody can support somebody when they do the right things, when they make the company money, whenever they solve the problems very quickly. Only great leaders will support their employees whenever they don't do the right things, whenever they are taking too long. So if you want to get the most production out of your employees, don't just praise them when they do the good things. You may not want to praise them when they do the bad things, but encourage them to keep doing it. Like, hey, you tried really hard. I saw what you were doing. You're almost there. Making sure you're following up with the other maintenance or engineers or whoever it may be that end up helping them out if that was the case. having them go through and do an after action report to figure out what exactly they could have done to do it better, to do it faster, to know what to do in the future. But give them that support, because when employees know they have 110 support from their leaders, they're going to do more. They're going to give you more than they have, than you would have ever expected out of them, because they know you're going to be there to support them no matter what. And they're going to go out and try and be more innovative and try new things. People want to try and do well and succeed and become better at their job. But that only happens when you, the leader, allow for that to happen. When you give that space, that environment for them to grow in. So great leaders support their employees 110%, whether it's good or bad situations. And when you do that, you get the most out of your employees.